Welcome back. Now, he's one of the most divisive world leaders in political history, but to his fans, he's a valiant and fearless commander-in-chief. Now, a new book claims to have uncovered the tactics used by President Donald Trump to gain his loyal following.
Fake news.
From attacking the media...
Your organization's terrible.
...to eyebrow-raising comments...
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
...and controversial policies.
We're going to build a wall. It's going to be built.
President Donald Trump is known for having the loudest voice in the room.
I am the chosen one.
And according to author Hassan, that's exactly how he became the world's most powerful man.
Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
In his book, The Cult of Trump, Stephen says Trump's behavior mirrors some of history's most feared leaders, and even claims the president is a master of mass mind control.
When I listen to him, it sounds like all the other gurus and cult leaders that I've been helping people get away from for 40 years.
So Stephen joins us now from Boston. Good morning to you, Stephen. In this new book, you are comparing directly the president to murderous cult leaders. That's a really big claim and a very big call to make. So what led you to this theory?
Essentially 40 years of full-time work helping people get out of mind control and brainwashing cults. It's his grandiosity, his extreme lying, his control of information, claiming fake news, loaded language. There's a whole laundry list of different techniques. And I wrote this book to offer people a framework that will help them understand the craziness of what's going on and also how to fix things.
Stephen, just a follow-up from that question, though. It's a big call saying that the President of the United States, whether you like him or not, you agree with his policies or not, that he's kind of like a cult leader. These people who've caused great harm to individuals across the world. One could say that he actually just knows how to manipulate the media and, because he's been in entertainment so long, how to use that format. Isn't that a different take on this?
No, really, the stereotypical profile is malignant narcissism, where there's extreme pathology. He thinks he's above the law. He thinks he demands absolute allegiance and obedience. He makes threats to harass critics and anyone he considers to be disloyal, which we're seeing right now. And if you I compare him in the book with Manson, Jim Jones, Moon, Hubbard, other cult leaders, and we really have never seen anybody so pathologically dangerous in the most powerful office in the world. So it's of great interest and importance for people to understand what mind control is, and that, in fact, he's using, right out of the cult leader playbook, specific mind control techniques to keep people overloaded, numb. For example, pathological lying, congruently saying lies, and I think there are about 13,000 now since he's entered office, where people just get numb and they don't understand how it's possible. And it's really incredibly important that people understand that cult leaders think they're above the law. So they're not going to respond to congressional subpoenas, for example, and he's going to do things to implement the policies of the people who are controlling him, unfortunately,
so, Stephen,
which I document also in my book.
To put this into context, you are familiar with the characteristics of cults because you were actually part of one yourself. Is that right?
Exactly. In fact, I grew up 1.3 miles from Donald Trump in Flushing, Queens, New York, and was recruited into a front group of the Moon cult. I dropped out of college, quit my job, worked 21 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I became a right-wing fascist, actually fasting for 3 days for Nixon during his impeachment because Moon said God wanted him to be president, which is exactly what many of the cults that are in the cult of Trump are being told by their leaders, that God has chosen him. He's like a King Cyrus figure, even though he's sinful. God is using him. It's exactly what I went through 45 years ago in the moon cult. Fortunately, my family rescued me, and I've dedicated my life to helping other people ever since.
So let's talk about the Jim Jones comparison. He was a director of mass murder in South America in 1978, and a really heinous murder too. How exactly do his tactics compare to, let's call it out like President Trump, like you're saying?
So for example, he told his people they were the special chosen one and that there were evil enemies like intelligence services after him. He created a mentality where he was, in the final years down in Guyana, he was on the loudspeaker constantly. He had spies reporting people, controlling information on the outside. But most importantly, the universal mind control technique is phobia indoctrination, the use of irrational fears that terrible things will happen to you if you question his authority or anyone else. And when Congressman Leo Ryan came down with Don Harris of NBC to investigate the fact that people were feeling like they were being held against their will, and Jones realized that the gig was up, he decided to assassinate the congressman and his entourage, and ordered the execution of everyone else, including telling parents to pour cyanide-laced flavor aid down their children's mouths to murder them.
Absolutely horrific.
It's horrible.
Stephen, we are coming up to the 2020 presidential election. In your opinion, do you think Trump will win again?
Unfortunately, he's funding. He has incredibly powerful, wealthy benefactors who have been manipulating him to do their will, to do their policies. I think the key is going to be other leaders in the Republican Party and conservatives finding their conscience. I'm hoping my book will help them have a frame to understand how incrementally they've been taken over by this essentially pathologically lying criminal person, Donald Trump, a reality TV star.
All right, Stephen, Hassan, great to have your company this morning. That book is called The Cult of Trump. It's available online and in good bookstores. Thanks, mate. Good to have you on. Still to come.